Wayne, long-legged harvestman, is a big one.
I'm Sharon Brett Kelly, and today on The Detail, it's a cold, dark Saturday night, and I'm deep in native bush, getting very, very close to some of our tiniest creatures.
Oh, gosh, that's very leggy.
Yeah, so what's cool about this guy is this thing in the front are grasping legs with spikes. And so it doesn't have fangs, it grabs its prey, and they really are quite beautiful colours and things like that. It probably has like sensory pits and sort of little hairs and to register the stuff. And that's full grown. So that's good to see in itself.
I'm with two conservationists.
Wayne O'Keefe.
And how would you describe yourself, Wayne?
Like these two. A little bit nuts.
That's right, Saturday night.
Nuts for nature.
Nuts for nature, I love it, I love it. But you take close-up photographs of tiny creatures.
Yes, it's an excuse to be out at night.
Yeah.
With fellow nutcases.
And tell me,
you notice we've all got beards?
Conservationists have to have beards.
Male conservationists, maybe.
Yes.
And tell me...
I'm not saying anything.
Let's not carry on with that conversation. And Russell, what's your surname?
Being the chief nuts, Russell Ingram Seal, so it's a hyphenated double-barreled name, and I'm a nut for invertebrates in Kiwi. I've been as a volunteer for 18 years now, doing Kiwi initially, and then but a childhood love of bugs and insects and spiders, and my mission in life is probably to get people to come out at night. So I started up the Kiwi Night Walks for Whakatane Kiwi Trust. I now work across various conservation groups and some professional entomologists as well, doing invertebrates.
Also with us is my sister Petra and Tom Armstrong, another keen conservationist who works here on our family farm near Whakatane. Tonight, our mission is to find a rare spider.
Now, I've been talking to a friend of mine in Rotorua, called Bryce McQuillan, who's probably New Zealand's foremost macro photographer, and spider guy. He's known as a spider guy. There is a spider, which he found last night, and it's quite a new species, commonly known by Bryce and Ange, his wife, as the icing sugar wolf spider. So we want to look for that tonight. It's got white hairs all over it, which is why it's called an icing sugar spider. Then I'll show you some photos.
Okay.
So this is the spider we come across, because it's not been recorded in this area before. So they found over 100 of them in Rotorua and Dancy Reserve.
So he's kind of golden brown.
Yeah, and in brown leaf litter.
Yeah.
So it's kind of be difficult to spot, but if we see any, we can then notify Bryce that it's outside of the lake Rotorua area. So
Pioneers. Yeah.
yeah, so that's our mission.
Right, and why are you carrying the white plastic tray?
Beating stick, beating tray. So to beat some bushes and see what falls
Oh,
out.
I see.
We also want to get an idea of just how healthy this 35 hectares of native bush is on the farm, because one of our dreams, like many landowners around the country, is to bring Kiwi here and be part of Whakatane's claim as the Kiwi capital of the world. So we're lucky to be with two wildlife experts on this walk.
Wayne, what are you taking photos for?
Oh, just for personal interest, really. Plus, I use some of the images for my work as well.
And what's your work?
Most of my time is spent working for an outfit called Bay Conservation Alliance.
Yep.
So it's a charitable trust set up to support community conservation groups in the Bay of Plenty. And as part of that role, I'm project managing a project called KEEP, which stands for the Kokako Ecosystem Expansion Program. So it's a very ambitious, multi-generational project to connect two isolated populations of kokako here in the Bay of Plenty, up behind Te Puke. Yeah, so it has taken up most of my time.
That's exciting.
It is, and it's pretty groundbreaking stuff.
how is it groundbreaking?
Well, kōkako are very poor flyers,
Yeah.
so they're not able to sort of go from remnant to remnant unless they're really, really close. So we have a gap of 6 kilometres to bridge. Yeah. So it's going
Right.
to involve creating suitable habitat for them and just increasing the amount of pest control that's happening outside the core areas. The Bay of Plenty is actually considered the stronghold for the North Island kōkako.
Ah.
We have a number of relic populations. So by relic we mean populations that haven't been added to. They are original populations,
Yeah.
which means that from a genetics perspective, they're very important. It's a stakeholder forum essentially.
Yeah.
So we've got landowners, iwi, councils, Kiwi2, National Trust, Forest and Bird, Bay Conservation Alliance.
And what would be the ultimate aim for keep?
Ultimately, not in my lifetime, but ultimately all the populations of kōkako in the Bay of Plenty are connected.
You say this is a group of landowners and conservation people. Is it well supported, well funded?
It's incredibly widely supported here in the Bay because there's so many stakeholders around the table. It ticks all the boxes for the funders as well, because it demonstrates collaboration
Yeah.
across agencies. Yeah, and the approach that we're taking up there, I think really is the future of conservation. It's about collective impact rather than one person working in isolation.
Under a
Ooh,
log.
big spiders.
Oh, what kind?
There's one over there. That's a vagrant spider. There's a beetle. And there is, what are those? Those are lizards. Unfortunately, rainbow skinks.
Are they bad?
Yes. Yes, those are pest species, but they're everywhere. And DOC's given up on them. All we're doing, it's not even worth reporting them. Oh, a cockroach, one of our native ones, just there.
Oh, tiny guy.
Yep, so we've got lots of species of native cockroaches. I mean, you never see them at home, but mostly introduced. And so some of them, they have beautiful patterns and colours, and some of them have wings as well.
And what can we see on that one?
And you can see it's got its abdomen, there's nice colour, sort of striations of a light sort of goldy colour with dark brown.
Yeah.
And when you take photos and blow them up, they're actually quite pretty insects. And they're shiny because they secrete a film over themselves to protect them from sort of bacteria, mould and all the crap they live in.
It's a little smaller than your thumbnail.
Yep, and yeah, so there's about 40 different species and things. They clean up. So the ones in your home also clean up all your dead skin and all your dropped food.
The ones that we freak out about.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're actually...
Yeah, they're cleaning up all the crap in between the fridge and your bench.
Oh, so we should welcome them rather than try and get rid of them.
Yeah, they are a pest species, but
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
That's a soft jaw.
It's
It's totally legal.
Okay.
That's Tom pointing to a soft jaw pest trap. He's been working to get rid of possums, rats and other pests on the property.
Good practice there, Tom. Oh, there's first millipede.
The first millipede.
So they're cool creatures. So they have two pairs of legs per body segment, and if they're disturbed and they get agitated, basically they secrete a chemical which is a bit acidy.
Russell's tools of trade are a jar with a magnifying glass lid, a pencil with a brush at the other end, and his plastic tray and stick. And then there's the torch with ultraviolet light that brings out psychedelic colours in the bush.
Yeah, torch envy is a big thing for us guys.
Torch envy.
Yeah. It's a serious business. Torches.
Would you just spend hours doing this?
Yep. The more you look, the more you find. But yeah, New Zealand has loads of species. And of course, with not having lots of birds, a lot of the insects and spiders all evolved for nighttime. But
Also,
there's
nighttime is the time to come looking.
that's predation.
Oh,
Wayne's camera captures the tiniest hairs on the tiniest creatures.
Is that a good sign? That could be our icing sugar spider. Oh, it's a different kind of thing. What is it? It's a cicada with...
It's been parasitised by a fungus.
Oh, so it's all covered in white.
Yeah, we've got quite a number of fungi that parasitise insects.
Yeah,
We have one which parasitises the larvae of the cicada, and this one tends to parasitise the adults.
And then what happens? It just
kills it.
Yep.
Yep. It just eats the insides. So it provides a nice little position there for the fungi to spread its spore.
And is that fungi, is that native? Yeah, so it's what's going on is all part of the natural process.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Oh, we have got a moth.
Yep, so hiding away. I can't tell what species it is.
Is it one of those ones that lives for a day?
Probably. It doesn't appear to have like really well developed mouth parts. So it's probably laying eggs and just hiding around. It's a female. Oh, you can tell it's a female by the antennae. They're normally feathery in the males. I'll light it up for you. And you can see the eye shine as well.
It's sort of a light brown,
Yeah, and it's not much to...
looking moth. We
It's
don't know.
quite hairy, yeah.
Yeah.
Hairy thorax.
Russell whacks another fern leaf and inspects the tray for bugs. Some of them so small they're just black dots.
Nothing.
Is that good that there's nothing?
No.
No.
Ah, there's a wetter. Whoops,
Oh,
it's just
hang
jumped
on.
on you.
There it is, in the crook. Oh, look at that.
So that's a female, and it's probably close to being fully grown.
Is it? It's tiny.
Yep, there's lots of different species of wetter.
Do you think Wayne wants to take a picture of that?
Yep. So that's a good sign.
Having few wetter is an indicator that there's lots of rats, because the rats predate the wetters, which is probably why we haven't seen many larger sized wetters
There's a
yet.
few tiny little bugs. Oh, there's a spider. Jumping spider.
Well, I thought wetters were big things that we could eat.
You have multiple, there's a lot of different types of wetter.
Okay.
Yeah. So
We're not going to have a meal of that.
No, there's 4 different types. There's your giant wetter, which are rare, and then you've got your ground wetters, which are quite uncommon to see, and then there's cave wetters, and there's probably about 60 different species, which this one belongs to, and then there's tree wetter, and they're the ones with the big black head and big body you get in your wood pile. Well, so there is life here. So.
Thank goodness.
And there's some springtails as well, and there's a tiny little beetle, which is about 1.5 mil.
We're talking about things that it's the size of a pinhead, aren't we?
Yeah, apart from the jumping spider. Which
Yeah.
is-
Do you want to take a picture of a little wetter? It's on the end of my thumb.
Right, so if you hold your light there, you can look through the magnifying glass and actually see a little bit more detail.
Here, creature.
Oh, there. Oh, hello. Yeah, you can see its little eyes.
God, it's just so thrilling, isn't it? Are those wings? What are they called? No.
Just legs.
That's the scientific name for them.
I'm at one with the nature. Really.
Legus.
Legus. Yeah.
Come on, you gonna play ball?
Russell spots a telltale eye shine of a spider on the ground.
Wayne, can you come and take a shot of this so we can see it in detail?
Could this be our rare icing sugar wolf spider?
It's about the right size.
Oh, yep.
And if you can make sure you get the thorax.
Crikey, that is small, Russell. That is small.
What kind of spider is it, do you think?
I don't know.
Could be the icing sugar one, maybe.
Well, I don't think so. I think it's the wrong shape, but it's not the one we're looking for. It's quite a small spider. It's got some nice patterns to it.
As we walk up the stream, we see glowworms, lots of colourful fungi, small native fish.
Oh, there's a fish by your foot, man.
Oh, that's a big one. Gosh, hello.
That's a banded cockapoo.
Banded, yeah.
And something else that excites Russell.
All right, talk Russell action time.
Yep.
Periphetus is like a worm with legs.
Oh,
not a
what
worm.
is it, Tom?
Not a worm?
No, it's enough.
No.
Whole thing all to itself.
Sound of a weird world.
Periphetus, is it?
Or velvet worm. And worm is a misnomer. And they're considered really uncommon, but they're actually everywhere. Invercargill is the hot spot for them. But we've seen quite a few species already. We've seen augurbs as we came in, we've seen tunnelwebs, we've seen that other spider, which I'm not sure what it is.
So that shows a healthy piece of
Yeah,
native
because
bush.
spiders are preying on something. So they're a good indicator. If you've got lots of spiders, it means there's lots of other invertebrates. And so they get to the ladies.
Oh, what
I
are
was
you?
about to call you the girls, but I'm old enough to do that, but
Women?
please excuse me. Yeah, it's kind of misogynistic
We won't
in
be
this day.
offended.
We're probably the
Is
same
it?
age as you.
Yeah.
I think you'll find.
Yeah. I'm very flattered, but you haven't seen us in daylight.
All right, see that up there?
Oh, that blue.
Yeah.
What's-
Spider-type-like thing.
Oh, yeah.
So that's called a harvestman, and they don't have fangs. So they're in a class to themselves, and there's basically two major types, short-legged and long-legged. That's a short-legged variety, and they have like grasping legs with spikes to get their prey. There's another one here. And there's also a flat millipede here as well, which is different to the other millipede we saw. Oh, there it is. Here's sort of what I would call a lobster type. And that's cool.
It's slightly addictive, isn't it? Because you just sort of think, oh, I might see
Yeah.
this corner.
It's like Pokemon.
That's your
Oh, yeah,
You've got to catch them all.
Very similar to Pokemon.
similar, Tom.
Oh, but in a really, really old forest, it's a bit like an avatar shack. Like places like Mangatautari. And Danzu Reserve.
One of Russell's many specialties is beetles.
And I've been tasked with collecting beetles for an entomologist. So they're all about 1 or 2 mil, so in a certain habitat. So.
Because are you working on a book about beetles?
I'm just a field worker for various people who are working on a book. So they may send me lists of different species, and I collect them under under a sort of an application done by the entomologist to collect, so I can collect. Of course, with doc, because you have to apply and things like that. So it has to be
To
done
what?
to collect anything and take it out.
Ah.
Because for the book we need to take them out, and what we're doing is Bryce, the chap I was talking to about, is shooting them on white card, and he's doing photo stacking, and so what that means is he's taking like so many shots down the insect, which might only be 2 mil, so he's taking like 30-50 shots and then putting them together so you have a very detailed picture and you can blow up and see all the features for identification.
Who would read a book like that?
Kids.
Oh,
Kids,
okay,
everybody.
that's what. It's
Yeah,
it's
it's-
aimed at the general.
Yeah, there's not been a New Zealand beetles book since.
It's a field guide, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a field guide. So there's not been. Oh, there's a cool spot. No, it's not. No, it's not. Sorry. But yeah, there's not been a recent book on beetles in New Zealand for quite a number of years, and there's a lack of information, especially about beetles at the moment. The last book the book I use is actually G.V. Hudson, who did it in about 1918. So.
And beetles are obviously an important part of our.
Yep, they're huge, and there's so many different species and different types. Who was it? Charles Darwin said God had an inordinate love of beetles, given the number of species. So, yeah, I might have misquoted that, but put the things around the wrong way, but it's something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, look. Oh, dog piece.
Wayne spots a tiny black fungus.
So that's a perfect example of how they break down material. It's actually growing out of the twig.
Yeah.
It's quite beautiful, isn't it?
It is beautiful.
Yeah, black cup fungus, that one.
The psychedelic ones too.
Down here.
Oh, we've got the most species of psychedelic fungi in the world. We've got over 20 species of magic mushrooms, and they're still finding new ones. Quite incredible.
That's kind of an investigation you might not necessarily want to be on, because just in case you eat the wrong one, right?
Well, that's the thing, because there are lookalikes.
It's a one-way trip.
You know, so you do need fairly good knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, but there are certain telltale signs that you can look for to positively identify.
If you want a secondary income off the property.
That's right.
Yeah, why not, eh?
This is how we're going to make our millions, Tom.
Yeah, not on the trees. Do you want me to hold that up?
No, that's good, thank you. Get Tom to do some guided tours.
Tom points to a thriving native tree known as Five Finger as another healthy sign.
If there was tons of possums, there would be hardly any of these five fingers. So,
Oh, that's a good sign.
yeah, so
Okay.
they're quite palatable to possums. So
Are they?
if they're around, it kind of indicates that the populations aren't too high.
I spy with my beady little eye a spider.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, that's quite big.
No,
Is that the water one, Russell? Or? Is that the water one?
No, it's not. No.
No.
Oh, look, here's a bigger one. Two, in fact.
Heck, we don't need a magnifier for that.
Russell's ruined his Saturday night.
As I always do.
Bottle of wine in front of the telly.
And on that note, we leave the nature nuts to their perfect Saturday night, still searching for the icing sugar wolf spider.
What's your impression of this little slice of nature on our farm?
I didn't know what to expect tonight, because being the dead of winter, as Russell pointed out earlier on, it's not the best time for bugs. But I've been blown away by the mosses and the liverworts and the lichens and the filmy ferns. And I think it's actually quite special for that.
Oh, awesome. I've sort of expected to see what we're seeing. Predator control obviously there needs to be more of it to see the full really large wetter and things like that, but it's really promising. So so I'm really pleased, and it's quite a nice area to explore. So thank you very much.
Oh, gosh, you're welcome.
That's it for today. The Detail is a newsroom production funded by RNZ and NZ On Air. This episode was engineered by Phil Bench and produced by Alexia Russell. Thank you to Wayne O'Keefe, Russell Ingram Seal, Tom Armstrong and my sister Petra. And you can see some of Wayne's amazing photos on RNZ or Newsroom's website. I'm Sharon Brett Kelly. Ka kite.
I've seen advantage of a beating stick.